It may be time for Angel Reese to consider taking up a different game.
When your own teammate can't even stand to be on the same bench as you, you've already lost the game.
What an embarrassment.
Angel Reese didn't just have a rough night. She had the kind of game that haunts a player's reputation. But what made it worse, what truly made this meltdown viral, was what happened behind her. Not on the scoreboard, not in the stat sheet, but on the bench. As she missed layup after layup, the camera didn't flinch. It panned to Kamilla Cardoso, sitting just feet away, and then not sitting at all. Quietly, subtly, Cardoso got up, walked down the bench, and put visible space between herself and her teammates. She didn't yell. She didn't throw her jersey. She didn't have to. That small gesture said everything. I don't want to be part of this. And honestly, can you blame her? Reese wasn't just missing shots. She was missing wide open, unguarded, should-be free layups. And she wasn't missing one. She missed them on repeat. The kind of shots kids practice in middle school. The kind of shots that make fans go silent. Not in anticipation, but in disbelief. And yet, that wasn't even the worst part. Every time she missed, she grabbed her own rebound and missed again and again and again. It looked like a looped clip, except it was real. A never-ending cycle of get ball, miss shot, repeat. You could see it in Cardoso's eyes. The disbelief, the frustration, the helplessness, because it wasn't just that Reese was struggling, it was that nobody seemed willing to change it. Not the coach, not the team, not Reese herself. And in that moment, something inside Cardoso seemed to snap. This wasn't supposed to be how it went. Not for Chicago, not for Reese. Coming into the season, the Sky weren't bottom feeders. They weren't tanking. In fact, many analysts saw them as a dark horse playoff team. They added sharpshooter Ariel Atkins, they had rebounding strength in Reese, and Cardoso was expected to be the interior presence they'd been missing. It was supposed to work, but what they got was something else entirely. Through 2 games, the Sky posted a minus 60-point differential. The worst start to a WNBA season in history. That's not just failure, that's collapse. And at the center of it, Angel Reese, struggling more than anyone could have predicted. Here's what those numbers really mean. A negative 60 differential means they're getting outscored by 30 points per game. In a league where 10-point blowouts are considered big, the Sky aren't just losing, they're being embarrassed. Angel Reese's shooting percentage, 22.7%. Her layup percentage within 5 feet, 23.5%. To say those are bad is an understatement. Those are historically bad. And when your star player is underperforming like that, it sends shockwaves through the roster. Missed shots, that's part of the game. But missed trust, that breaks teams apart from the inside. That's what we saw on the Chicago Sky bench. A team watching their leader fall and realizing all at once, we might not be able to fix this. And so Cardoso walked away. Not from the team, not from the game, but from the moment. From the chaos. From the teammate who couldn't deliver. And if you think that's just overreaction, think again. Cardoso is respected across the league for one thing above all, her composure. She doesn't show emotion. She doesn't lose control. For her to break character on national television, that wasn't an accident. It was a statement, one that Reese and the entire league just heard loud and clear. It was supposed to be the greatest rivalry the WNBA had ever seen. But now, it's starting to look one-sided. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, 2 college megastars, 2 lightning rods for attention, 2 players who were meant to ignite the league. The media built it up like Ali versus Frazier, like Bird versus Magic. But there's one massive difference between hype and reality. Because while Clark is drawing fouls, draining threes, and leading comebacks, Reese is getting blocked, booed, and bailed out by her own fan base. What we're watching isn't a rivalry. It's a public unraveling. Let's go back to where it all started. In college, Reese and Clark shared the spotlight and the headlines. Their NCAA title matchup was everything the media could have asked for. Trash talk, swagger, ratings, From that moment on, their names were linked forever. But here's the thing about rivalries. They require balance. You need wins on both sides. You need battles, not just build-up. And so far, the pro version of this rivalry has been anything but balanced. Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA with a microscope on her. Expectations? Astronomical. Pressure? Insane. And after a rocky start, she delivered. Against Atlanta, Clark posted 11 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. Not MVP numbers, but steady, confident, composed. More importantly, she kept the offense flowing. She adapted, she adjusted, she made her teammates better, and when she needed help, they rallied around her. Timeouts became strategy sessions. The bench came alive. Her teammates celebrated small victories like they were championships. That's the kind of chemistry every team wants. That's the kind of culture Chicago is clearly missing. Now contrast that with Angel Reese. She's gone 2 straight games shooting like a black hole. 0 assists, 10 turnovers, 2 points in 27 minutes. And somehow, instead of accountability, we're getting excuses. She's tired. She's adjusting. The pressure's too much. Number, that's not how this works. You don't talk the talk, troll the best player in the league, build your brand off confrontation, and then fold when it's time to walk the walk. The truth? Reese hasn't just failed to live up to the hype. She's made it harder for fans to believe it was ever real to begin with. And don't think fans haven't noticed. Social media has been brutal. One viral tweet showed her string of missed layups and asked, "Is this real? Or did someone loop it?" Another simply said, "Stat padding is not a play style." But it's not just the fans losing faith, it's her own teammates. And that's where the comparison with Clark really becomes clear. In Indiana, Caitlin Clark is leading a culture shift. In Chicago, Angel Reese is watching one fall apart. You can see it in how each team responds to adversity. The Fever lost their opener too, but instead of turning on each other, they turned up. Their rematch against Atlanta was clinical, cohesive, and full of fire. Players like Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull elevated their game. The bench was hyped, the effort was infectious. Now watch the sky. Their losses are turning ugly and personal. Players slumping on the bench, glaring at each other, physically separating themselves. That's not a team preparing to bounce back. That's a team teetering on implosion. And yet, Angel Reese is still getting protected. You've probably heard the arguments. She's just getting started. Give her time. She's under more pressure because of who she is. Okay, but what about Caitlin Clark? She's under the exact same spotlight, arguably brighter. Yet she's producing, she's passing, she's hitting shots, she's adjusting. That's the difference between a star under pressure and a player hiding behind it. And let's talk about one more thing, the narrative. For months, fans were told Reese was the villain the league needed, the trash-talking rival who would bring flair, fire, and fight to every court she stepped on. But villains need to be feared. They need to deliver. Right now, Angel Reese isn't a villain. She's not even a challenge. She's a liability. And that changes everything. It's easy to blame one player when things go wrong, but what we're seeing in Chicago, that goes way beyond Angel Reese. This isn't just about missed layups or bad shooting nights. It's about a team that's falling apart at every level, offensively, defensively, emotionally, and at the center of it all is head coach Tyler Marsh. Let's be clear, Tyler Marsh didn't inherit a title contender, but what he did inherit was expectation, a roster with experience, role players who could contribute, a hungry rookie class, a front office that spent the offseason trying to build something real, and through 2 games, he's done the exact opposite. Let's start with the numbers. The Sky aren't just losing, they're historically bad. The worst point differential through the first 2 games in league history. That's not just a fluke. That's a signal. They're getting outscored by 30 a night. 30? To put that into perspective, no WNBA team has ever started worse. Even expansion teams and injury-riddled rosters have managed to keep games closer than this. So the question becomes, what exactly is the game plan here? Because if there is one, no one seems to know what it is. Spacing? It's non-existent. Watch any sky possession and you'll see players bunching up in the paint, clogging lanes, standing flat-footed in the corners. Guards are over-dribbling. Forwards are fighting for space they should already own. And the worst part? They don't seem to know why it's happening. Even veteran point guard Courtney Vandersloot called it out, saying, "We haven't figured out how to position our post players, so it benefits us." Read that again. That's a veteran leader admitting they have no idea how the system is supposed to work. That's not a chemistry issue. That's a coaching issue. Now look at Kamilla Cardoso. She was supposed to be the X factor, a physical presence in the paint, capable of anchoring the defense and punishing opponents down low. Instead, she's left waiting. On the court, she's not getting post entries. Off the court, she's watching the offense spiral out of control. And at one point, she literally walked away from the bench. That's not just frustration, that's betrayal. Because here's what most fans don't know. Cardoso reportedly bought into Tyler Marsh. She was skeptical of previous coach Teresa Weatherspoon's system, but Marsh sold her a vision, a new role, a new direction, something exciting. And 2 games in, that vision is shattered. This isn't just about results, it's about trust. When players stop trusting the system, they stop running it. They freelance, they isolate, they revert to bad habits. And that's exactly what we're seeing. You've got Angel Reese trying to play point forward, despite having more turnovers than assists. You've got guards throwing errant passes with no one in position. And defensively, the breakdowns are constant. The Liberty didn't just beat the Sky. They set a record, 19 made threes, the most in WNBA regular season history. They turned Chicago into a training session, launching open shot after open shot while the Sky stood frozen. That doesn't happen unless the scheme is broken. And fans? They're not dumb. They're not just blaming Reese, they're calling out Tyler Marsh directly. Hashtags like number free Cardoso and number fire Marsh have already started trending in Chicago fan circles. It's not because the roster lacks talent, it's because no one knows what they're supposed to do. And when a team doesn't know where to go, they go nowhere. Look at the difference between Chicago and Indiana. Both teams have young stars. Both have expectations. But one has structure, while the other has chaos. The Fever move with purpose. Players cut, screen, reposition. There's communication. There's tempo. Even when they miss shots, they look like they're working towards something. The Sky? They look like 5 strangers running 5 different plays. And that's on the coach. When your team is this disconnected, this early, you're not just off to a bad start. You're already behind schedule, and that means one of 2 things has to happen. Fast. Either Tyler Marsh overhauls this system immediately and finds a way to simplify, communicate, and adjust. Or he loses the locker room entirely, because the only thing more dangerous than a struggling star is a coach whose players stop listening. Once the fans turn on you, it doesn't matter what the stat sheet says. The damage is done, and right now, Angel Reese is learning that lesson the hard way, because after just 2 games, the tone around her name online has shifted completely. At first, it was cautious optimism. Fans reminded each other, it's just the start of the season, give her time. She's finding her rhythm, but after her now infamous 0-for-8 game against the Liberty, and the clip that showed her missing multiple layups in succession, the tone changed drastically. What started as patience turned into disbelief. Then came mockery, then came anger. It wasn't just fans asking questions, it was fans demanding answers. A tweet showing her rebound repeat sequence went viral, with one user asking, "How is this not stat padding? She missed the same shot 5 times." Another said, "I thought Angel Reese was the rival to Caitlin Clark." This ain't a rivalry. This is embarrassing. Even well-known WNBA supporters, people who normally defend rookie struggles, started to question her role, her effort, and her fit in the league. And the clip of Kamilla Cardoso physically distancing herself on the bench, that became the final nail. Because it wasn't just the fans losing faith, now it looked like her own teammate had too. And when fans smell dysfunction, they pounce. It didn't take long before calls for drastic changes hit the timeline. Comments like, "Trade Reese now before her value tanks. She's not ready for this level. We got sold a fake superstar." And the hashtags started trending. # Sky Collapse, # Stat Padding, # Cardoso deserves better. What was once a wave of support turned into a tidal wave of criticism, and it's only getting louder. Now here's the thing. In today's WNBA, perception matters almost as much as performance. This league thrives on engagement, visibility, and fan-driven storylines. That's why Reese and Clark were marketed so heavily to begin with, because the league needs stars who command attention, but that spotlight cuts both ways. If you thrive, you're the face of the league. If you fail, you become the punchline in every thread, the center of every meme, the "what happened?" in every podcast headline. Reese is quickly finding herself on the wrong side of that equation. Even Reese's supporters are starting to sound uncertain. Some are pointing to the pressure, others are blaming the coaching. A few still mention the adjustment period from college to the pros. But here's the truth. Rookie struggles are normal. What's not normal is body language that shows total disconnect. Teammates walking away, effort questioned, leadership absent, and fans, especially WNBA fans, can tell the difference. They'll ride with you through a shooting slump, but they won't ride with you if it looks like you've lost the team. Meanwhile, across the league, someone else is winning hearts. Caitlin Clark, once booed in her debut, is now gaining praise for her poise and resilience. After every tough play, she gets up. After every bad quarter, she resets. She doesn't walk away from her teammates. She pulls them closer. That contrast is brutal, and fans can't stop comparing. Clark's social media engagement skyrocketing. Reese's a war zone. Every post gets swarmed, every clip dissected, and fair or not, that digital narrative is shaping her career already. Because here's what the internet never forgets: a viral failure. That missed layup clip, it's not just trending. It's circulating in NBA fan pages, meme accounts, and sports commentary shows. Even non-WNBA viewers are chiming in, asking, "This is the future of the league?" And when the discourse leaves the court and enters the algorithm, damage control becomes almost impossible. So what's next for Angel Reese? That depends on how she responds. Not with a tweet, not with a motivational quote, but with a game, a real one. She needs to stop the noise with buckets, silence the memes with hustle, reclaim her team's trust, not just the fans' applause, because right now, she's not trending, she's spiraling. And in a league where every moment goes viral, spirals turn into exits real fast. The fans were her biggest weapon, but now they might be the final blow. Let us know. Should the Sky trade Angel Reese now before things get worse? Or can this team be salvaged before it falls apart for good? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want more behind the scenes drama and real talk, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust us, what's coming next might be even messier.